Your self-image. There's a number of things like that that has been said. And we are in a tough field. We have a saying, and I imagine some of you have heard this before, and that is you've got to take care of the caretaker. Oftentimes people who take care of others go down in flames because it's a difficult thing and it's discouraging. And it's, oh, I was feeling kind of warmed up here. There. Okay. So, I want to tell you that when I first got involved with appointment ministries, a guy by the name of Ron Crasilius actually came, and this is something else I've heard today a number of times. Ron came and said, you need to get involved with appointment ministries. And I said, I'm too busy. And anyway, he wouldn't take no for an answer. And then he felt like God told him that I was going to be the outpost leader. And I said, well, then why didn't he tell me that? And anyway, they gave me a shirt, and it said, Saved to Serve. And I know some of you guys have seen that, and logo and so forth, and it was pretty cool. And to make that story short, I know that's our motto, and last year we had a Kansas Veterans Family Reunion where all these vets come and they have a weekend and do this, and I got this shirt. And this shirt, some of you have seen the bumper sticker, some gave, or all gave some gave all. Well, this shirt says, all gave some gave all, some still give. Mm-hmm. That's you and me. Oh. And yeah, let me get this. Went down the hill here yesterday to the Naval, whatever it is, park, and I found a patch, and it says the same thing. So you guys can get one too, but it says, all gave some gave all, some still give. America remembers. And I love that because that's an encouragement that we're not done. Well, we've been talking about being in the military, and then you come out. Now, I was infantry, so I come home, and what good am I? I could be a hired gun, you know, or whatever. And it was tough to find a job. So I was looking for meaning and purpose and so forth. And I love this kind of stuff, the patch, but yet I struggled with my identity. In fact, I came home and wanted to get married, and I wanted to buy a car, and I went to the bank and get a loan, and they said, I'm sorry, you're not a resident of the state of Kansas. I said, I was drafted from Topeka, and I went and served my country, and I came home to Topeka, and now you tell me this is not my home. You know? And wow, talk about identity crisis. So the other thing is, while I was in Vietnam, now I have to say I went over to Vietnam as a man of faith. I really had, I thought, a strong faith, and yet I was a young guy. And when I got to Vietnam, somebody told me that God is dead. Whoa, you know, I don't know if I believe it. Well, then the guy said, actually, in Vietnam, God went AWOL. And they said it was a God-forsaken country. And I could go on with a number of stories, but I found out they were lying to me because I know God was there. Otherwise, I am absolutely convinced that I should be dead. When I had a man from here to the wall shoot me 3 times with an AK, and he missed. And my squad leader at the time, he says, how do you miss a target that big, that close? And I had no natural explanation. So anyway, just in recent years, I've been doing some study on my own, and I was looking at trying to maybe understand a little bit about God. And what I wanted to share with you, I've got a 2-page list of names for God. And you know, there's lots of them like Jehovah and Adonai and all kinds of stuff, but I came across this one that I wanted to share with you. And it's Jehovah Sabaoth, if I'm saying it right. Jehovah Sabaoth in Isaiah 6:3, it's translated, he's Lord of Hosts. Yep. Okay. You read Psalms 46:11, and it talks about Lord of Hosts. And then you read the whole book of Haggai, and it's Lord of Hosts, Lord of Hosts, Lord of Hosts, all over the place. And I got into further detail, looked in Strong's Concordance, and what does this mean? found was that Jehovah Sabaoth means Lord of War, or Lord of Warriors. That means, now I'm saying this and I got chills because He's our God.
He
He
is.
is our God. And so many of the guys that we work with in Topeka, you know, going through the VA and there's all kinds of problems and so forth, most of the time I see these guys having an identity crisis. And I want these guys to know, you know, first of all, they tell me, well, years ago, a guy told me, he said, he even went to seminary, and he said, I know God can forgive me, but he said, I can't forgive myself. He was with a special operations group, and he said he did things that I know that there's no forgiveness for me. And I said, well, you know, well, I have to back up further. Just a couple weeks prior to me meeting this guy and him telling me this, Rosie went to a bookstore, a Christian bookstore in Topeka, and she found on the shelf this dog tag. And she brought it home to me. She said, I thought you might like this. And it just has one word on it. And it says, forgiven. And I loved it. I mean, you know, yeah, man, that's mine. I love it. And then Jeff is telling me, I can't even forgive myself. And, you know, this is my tag. This is mine. And the Lord says He needs it more than you. And, okay. So he wanted to go outside, and we had a pond out back. He's going to throw a line in, and he took off walking, and I walked with him. I said, Jeff, I got something I got to give you, even though I didn't want to. But I did. You know, this is mine. And I said, I heard what you're saying. You can't forgive yourself, you said. And I said, in Romans chapter 5, verse 8, it says, God demonstrated His love toward us in that while we were still in our sin, Christ died for us. I said, that's a statement of love for you and me. It's also a statement of paid in full. And you know, I know the thing I appreciated the most about Jeff was he was being honest with me. He knew his past. He knew where he'd been. And he wasn't feeding me a line of bull. He was just being honest. And yet I told him, you know, this is God's word saying this. And I said, I have to tell you, I look at God as I look at my commanding officer. My commanding officer said, Sergeant Williams, here's the mission here. And we're going to do this, and we're going to take this hill, and we're going to, and I don't go, well, you know, I'm not feeling it today. You know, I'm just, I go, yes, sir. Well, when God tells me, son, daughter, you're forgiven. I don't go, yeah, but you know, I know what no. You know what we need to do? Yes, sir. So here's what we do. Tim, come here. I got to use you as an example. This will be easy, harmless. But here's what we do.
Grunt style.
If I can get it off.
I can't think that. That's yours.
Nope. Here it is. See, it's got one word on it. Forgiven, and you can't have it.
You told me you were giving it to me.
What? You know, here's what we do. First of all, I tell you Romans 5:8. This is from God. It's a gift. And I can't force it on you. It's a free gift. Ephesians 2:8-9 says, for by grace we're saved. Not of ourselves, it's a gift of God, not of works. So, soldier, may I place it on you?
Yes.
And then I say,